Hurry up with the coffee. She demanded with urgency in her voice. That's why the people who leave and aren't even attractive are terrible at their jobs as housewives, my sister-in-law said with a haughty expression on her face. Her words hurt, and I was about to respond, but then something unexpected happened. I noticed her fiancé standing nearby, and just when I caught his gaze, there was a sudden and surprising hug. It was so unexpected that I didn't quite understand what was happening. But somehow, that hug changed everything. I felt as if the roles between my sister-in-law and me had suddenly reversed. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lauren and I am 37 years old. One of my favorite things is falling asleep while watching videos of my son's dance recitals. My son is the best, an absolute angel. The way he moves his little limbs and his adorable bottom during the performances is the cutest thing in the world. Spoiling my son is something I love to do because, for a parent, their child always seems more special than anyone else. And now that I think about it, maybe that's how my sister-in-law was raised. Lily, let's go back a few years when I had just become a wife. When Jack, my husband, proposed, he mentioned that he wanted us to live with his parents after we got married. The idea made me nervous, but moving in with my in-laws, Frank and Olivia, in their duplex was a decision that many say doesn't end well. However, to my surprise, Frank and Olivia were incredibly kind, which reassured me. Feeling secure, I was happy to move forward with the wedding plans. But things didn't stay smooth for long. At first, everything seemed fine with my in-laws, but things began to tense up with Lily. It started when I visited Jack's family home to discuss the wedding details and the registry. A relative of Jack's, who was visiting at the time, commented, "Jack, you have a beautiful girlfriend." I felt flattered, but at that moment I noticed Lily looking at me coldly. Frank, Jack's father, replied cheerfully. Jack is lucky to have such beauty, but when I looked at Lily again, I thought I saw her. Looking coldly at it, at first I thought I was just imagining things, so I let it go and soon forgot about it since we hadn't seen each other for a while. However, on the day of the wedding, something strange happened. Lily appeared in a white dress. She is in her 30s. So she is not an uninformed student who doesn't know the basic rules of wedding etiquette. Choosing a color that clashed with my wedding dress was deliberate. Naturally, my in-laws and Jack were surprised and asked, "What were you thinking?" But she simply replied, "This was all I had," according to my in-laws. Lily had left the house in a dress of a different color and must have changed on the way to the wedding, doing so stealthily. Changing clothes in secret like that can only be seen as a malicious act to make things worse. She even made a sarcastic comment about my wedding dress, saying, "When Lauren wears it, it doesn't look like a wedding dress, it looks like a cheap dress worth 250,000 pesos. I suppose it depends on who wears the elegant clothes." Then they simply walked away. I couldn't understand. Why would I do something so silly? The next day after the wedding ceremony, Lily's attitude changed drastically. While I was doing my chores, she suddenly interrupted me saying, "Hey, don't wash my clothes with yours." I had taken on the household tasks for Olivia, my mother-in-law, and only. I was trying to help, but Lily didn't like that I had washed her clothes along with mine. She said washing my clothes with other people's clothes could make me common too, disgusting. Wash them again, and then she threw the clothes at me before leaving the room. You might think I should have said something, but I was so surprised that I couldn't find the words. Adults don't talk like that, right? Separating the laundry because simplicity could spread is the kind of thing you'd expect from a teenager learning to be independent, not from an adult woman. To avoid more problems, I pretended to rearrange the clothes, but I put them back in their closet. Olivia even said it was fine and apologized for Lily's behavior. But since that day, Lily was relentless. In fact, I dropped out of school when I was younger to pursue a dream. So my highest level of education is incomplete, but it has never been a problem for me, and I don't feel ashamed about it. Lily, on the other hand, graduated from a national university near her home. It's not a prestigious university, but she acts as if it's more elitist than I am. That's why she even started saying, "I am a." Unlike you, Lily wasn't always like this. She couldn't understand why she had bothered her so much a few months after the wedding. We had a meeting with relatives. Although everyone had already met at the wedding, this gathering was more relaxed, giving them the opportunity to chat with me and Jack. The atmosphere was lively, and soon the conversation turned to our wedding. "Lauren's wedding dress was so beautiful," exclaimed one of the relatives. "Absolutely. Jack, he is lucky to have such a beautiful woman." I can't wait to see what their children will be like, another person added, clearly excited about our future together. I don't want to brag, but I've always felt confident about my appearance. Jack may not fit the traditional mold of handsome, but he has a well-balanced face and a charm that makes him popular among people while relatives chatted, lost in their conversations and compliments. I noticed that Lily tensed up with displeasure and suddenly let go. They may not know it, but I was really popular in my school days. That's when I understood the root of Lily's anger. Despite the surprised expressions of everyone around her, Lily began to boast about how she was always admired in school and how men would crowd around her whenever she walked down the street. Honestly, it sounded exaggerated, especially when looking at Lily, to be frank. Lily is not what one would traditionally call beautiful. She has small eyes and a large, round nose, making it hard to believe the stories she told. Everyone listened with skeptical looks, and soon they lost interest, quickly changing the subject. I continued listening out of pity, but it was hard to stay engaged. When you knew that everything was made up, later when I went to the kitchen for some drinks, Lily followed me and suddenly pulled my hair from behind. What do you think you are, better than me? I was left surprised and confused. What are you talking about? I asked. I know you were just flattering me when I said I was popular, I can tell. She let it slip, and I was momentarily left speechless. I mean, she had started saying that she had had 7 boyfriends at one point. It was a lie. I tried to listen seriously, but it's hard to keep the interest. When you know that everything has been invented, you think you're brilliant just because they call you pretty, right? That's only because our relatives from the countryside aren't used to seeing women. Let go of me, tightening their grip on my hair. Lily, I don't feel good about this, I said, trying to stay calm, but she hadn't finished. Shut up, she shouted, pulling even harder on my hair. In this house, not in this neighborhood, I am the prettiest. I've been told that I'm pretty. Since I was a little girl, don't get conceited just because you wear makeup. Lily, who couldn't become any prettier even with makeup, kept accusing me. It's okay, you're the prettiest. Lily said, trying to calm down, you see. You're just saying that, replied people like you with your false concern. She pushed me, letting go of my hair, and I fell to the ground. Satisfied, she spat in my face and said, don't think you're great just because they call you pretty, I am the prettiest. Lily declared as she walked away. This incident, of course, had to be reported to Jack and my in-laws. When I shared the story, everyone had an expression of, not again. I found out that Lily is a narcissist with an inflated self-esteem, just as she acted at the family gathering. It turns out that the root of this behavior was her late grandfather, who spoiled her as his only granddaughter. He always told her she was prettier than the celebrities on TV, which distorted her perception of beauty. Because of this, it seems she believes she is the epitome of beauty. This caused her problems with her classmates when she was younger, leading to conflicts. They all apologized to me for the inconvenience but said they couldn't do anything. It seems that Lily doesn't. I wouldn't listen to anyone according to Jack, and I understood the in-laws, but it was frustrating to hear that nothing could be done. Especially when Lily's behavior was not only verbally abusive but also physically harmful. I thought they should do something about it. I even started to consider divorce. Soon after we got married, but then in just 2 weeks, Lily brought home a man, introducing him as her fiancé. We were all surprised since none of us had heard that she was dating anyone. Her fiancé, Ark, was a serious man with glasses who seemed shy and kept his head down. Lily, on the other hand, acted tough and dominant. There were no signs of affection or intimacy between them, making me wonder if he was in agreement with marrying Lily while he prepared coffee in the kitchen, lost in thought about the situation. Lily began to criticize me again. Hey housewife, hurry up with the coffee. This is what happens when unattractive deserters try to do a simple task. Don't keep my fiancé waiting. If this commitment is cancelled, it will be your fault. Let go. Jack and the in-laws tried to calm her down by telling her it was enough, but she wasn't listening. Just when she was about to respond, Ark looked at me. His gaze was so intense that it surprised me. I was speechless and asked, why are you looking at me like that? Then suddenly Sandra exclaimed and hugged me tightly. Lily, surprised, let out a confused gasp, and everyone in the room was astonished. Eric continued, I have been doing well. I was worried about you after you withdrew. There is no information about you online. I felt uncomfortable and murmured, still confused, asking what is going on. Are you a fan of hers or something like that? Eric, now more confident, proudly replied, yes, I am a fan of Sandra. He seemed so different from the shy person we had seen before. Olivia, confused, asked Sandra who that is. Jack then explained that it is the group of idols that Lauren used to be a part of, right? I nodded silently, not knowing how to respond. Emmy, later known as Emmy, and Maria was the musical group I was part of during. In my teenage years, I moved to the city at 17 and performed under the stage name of You until I was 20. The group, One Man Morian, wasn't globally famous, but we had our share of popularity. Unfortunately, the group dissolved due to the misconduct of some members, and I left the music industry when I was 21. I had been the main member and leader of the group, and that's why I dropped out of school. I chose to follow my dream, working part-time to support myself, and I have never regretted that decision. When I was a teenager, and later when I decided to marry Jack, I was working in a clothing store. I never mentioned my past as a musician to my in-laws or to Lily. It was a topic I avoided. It simply never came up, and I felt it wasn't relevant to my current life. Wow, you were a musician. That's incredible. Why didn't you tell us? She exclaimed. Olivia excited to learn something new about me. I had some fame, but not enough to appear on TV. I explained, feeling a bit embarrassed about it. I didn't think it was worth mentioning, but now, recalling that part of my life in front of everyone, I felt a mix of emotions, pride, nostalgia, and a little bit of shame. Eric still looking at Lily with disdain, he said, Lily, you just said some harsh words to Sandra. No, Lily stammered, clearly surprised by the sudden attention. Oh well, he murmured, not knowing how to respond. Eric did not stop. How could you say such things to Sandra? What right do you have to act so arrogantly? She shouted. You are an ugly girl. Suddenly, Arx's anger flared up, and he lunged at Lily, leaving everyone in the room stunned. Are these two engaged? Someone whispered. Someone with disbelief quickly intervened, trying to calm the situation. Calm down. It doesn't bother me. Don't be so hard on her. I said, addressing him, but he wasn't ready to let it go, not Sandra. You are mistaken, elevated. His voice with frustration. Clara, she only approached me because I'm a doctor. She said she would marry anyone. If that meant showing off in front of her sister-in-law. It's not true, I said softly, trying to de-escalate the situation, but Ark hadn't finished. There was a girl who proposes just. After 3 weeks of dating, it means nothing to me, she said, her voice heavy with disappointment. We were all stunned by the drama unfolding. LD had planned to marry a high-status man just to show off to me. She had told people that she had caught a husband due to his education before our wedding. Lily had managed to make her contacts by attending any dinner and approaching any man with good prospects, of course. It wasn't easy to find a perfect partner. Initially, she had casually confessed to handsome men or those in high corporate positions, but she only faced failures. A few weeks later, Lily met Ark, a doctor, not wanting to miss the opportunity to be with someone who earned a good income. Lily fixed her gaze on Eric, inexperienced in love. He thought to himself that no one had pursued him with such passion, but a week later, he heard Lily on the phone and realized the harsh truth. She didn't love him, she was just seeking the status of marrying a doctor. Despite this realization, Eric accepted her proposal, hoping that maybe, over time, Lily could come to love him. Lily, willing to settle for anyone, and Ark, who only wanted to take advantage of the opportunity, seemed strangely suited for each other, but I kept silent, feeling that no one should marry a girl who belittles others. Eric was beyond furious while Lily was visibly scared by his unexpected anger. Eric, normally of a calm demeanor, was furious, which surprised everyone. Lily, with a weak voice, murmured. What's so good about that girl who didn't finish college, that ugly girl? How dare you call her ugly? Sandra replied, intensifying her anger. I decided to intervene, my voice was calm but firm. Lily, you keep mentioning my status as an ungraduated student. It's so bad, I asked, observing how Eric's expression hardened in response. Lily trying to sound confident but failing, then the owner of your favorite restaurant who started his chef training right after high school is also bad, and what about your favorite actor who is also a dropout? Are they bad because they didn't complete their education? I asked, pressing the point. That's different. They are in special stuttering professions. Lily trying to defend her argument. Well, I chose not to graduate for a special career as a musician, it only matters if I succeed, I challenged. With my eyes fixed on yours, I didn't know you were a musician, she murmured. Lily clearly surprised. Yes, but even if you had known, you would have found another reason to insult me, right? I said, surprising Lily. She looked away, unable to meet my gaze. I don't like to brag about my education, I continued, but since you brought up the topic, let's talk about it. You can boast about Princeton, but anyone can get into your national universities just by writing their name, and let's not forget that you graduated from the lowest performing high school in the state. You are only proud to be able to write your name. Isn't that a bit empty? I said with a smile, watching as Lily's face turned red with embarrassment. Shut up, Lily shouted, but her voice lacked conviction. Incredible, Lily, you can write your name. Are you satisfied now? Go ahead, belittle me. Lily, you are incredible. I said mockingly, applauding. Eric joined in, exclaiming, how nice. Why did I forget about Sandra? For an ugly girl, the fans. They are incredible. An hour later, even though I didn't look particularly pretty next to a beloved one, Lily's attitude, whether she was aware of it or not, seemed devastated as she murmured. This is the worst, I've never been ridiculed like this. I'm pretty, you know it's your fault. And it's not just a matter of appearance, your personality isn't nice either. I know I'm not the prettiest one either, I admit it, but I'm not as bad as you. Maybe you should start by fixing that ugly personality of yours. What do you think? Who do you think you are? Lily's face twisted with anger. You will see, I continued calmly. The face of a woman ages over time, it makes no sense to be excessively confident in your appearance. What matters is the heart, inner beauty is reflected on your face. Olivia clapped and nodded in agreement, that's well said, she commented. Jack added with a raised smile, it's true, I used to like pretty girls when I was younger, but when I started thinking about marriage, I began to value comfort and personality more. Lily, with your current attitude. You won't find happiness in marriage, Frank. My father-in-law sharply commented that you were always called pretty, but that was as a granddaughter, not in the eyes of the world. With a bad personality, you'll end up being ugly inside and out. Lily sighed deeply, understanding the weight of everyone's words. This is the worst, he murmured, and then she started to cry. Eric, without showing mercy, said. Even though my fiancé is crying, I can't help but think that a girl with a bad personality has an ugly crying face. We are canceling this marriage, I'm sure I will fall in love with someone else. I'm sorry for getting distracted by her and all that. Lily's engagement ended incredibly quickly. She was thrown out of the house with everyone telling her that she needed to learn about life and work on herself. Initially, Lily was defiant, she said, I have friends, I won't let being thrown out bother me. But in a few days, she returned home defeated. Can I come back? She asked, her voice filled with desperation. It seemed that even her friend had seen through her flaws after spending so much time together. No one was willing to take her in. And of course, my in-laws and Jack also did not accept her again, they regretted having indulged Lily so much over the years and apologized to me for not having taken action sooner. We heard what was happening, but we didn't act. We felt sorry, they said. I understood. It's difficult for parents to kick their child out, but she was already 21, an adult who needed to take responsibility for her actions. Jack later confessed that he had secretly planned to provide Lily with a separate house to live away from me, but before he could carry out his plan, Lily had already been kicked out. He apologized to me, saying he's sorry for making me endure that. A husband should protect his wife better, otherwise, I deserve to be divorced. I smiled and jokingly said, well, I suppose you are safe. This time, after Lily moved to her place, but life. It wasn't easy for her, she was robbed by men who demanded money. What she met on a dating app took a turn when she twisted her ankle falling off her bike, and she even found all her rotten oranges in the fridge. It seemed like her past misdeeds were catching up with her. I've been busy these days raising our little one, she's growing up so fast. It feels like it was yesterday when she was crawling, and now she has recently started walking on her own. She even told me with a big smile on her face, Mommy. I have a boyfriend, he's a boy from her kindergarten class. They started dating after playing house together, and they even made a little promise to get married someday. He's so sweet and innocent. When Jack heard about this, he pretended to cry while drinking his beverage, saying, Don't go, Daddy, and get married. Of course, we both know that their relationship is just like playing house, a part of childhood fun. But it's also a reminder of how quickly children grow up. One day, our little girl will find someone she truly wants to marry, and when that time comes, we will be ready to support her. Until then, Jack and I are focused on raising her to be the best person she can be. She is our pride and joy, and we want to help her become an even more wonderful young lady as she grows. But for now, the journey to becoming a lady. It's still long, filled with moments of learning and playful adventures. Speaking of this, it just made a big mess in the living room. So it's time for a little lesson and a cleanup. Each day brings new challenges and joys, and I am excited to see who it will turn you into.